it's Alia, and welcome to Travel Hacking 101. One of the questions I get a lot is how we travel so much, and if I'm rich, and I am not rich, I just travel hack. And then people ask, how do you do that? So I figured I'd make a Travel Hacking 101 video. Now, I'm not like one of the biggest pros out there, but I get where I want to go every year, me and my family, for usually almost nothing. And I thought I would share that information with all of you. So, what is travel hacking? So, travel hacking is the art of using various like reward systems and points to travel for less or for free, or to just enjoy a better traveling experience. So, for some people, it's just like you buy your normal tickets and then you use the points to upgrade to first class. For us, it's that we use it to travel just entirely for free. Like, we'll take the cheap seats if that's what it takes to get us from point A to point B. But we're usually traveling for free. We're staying at hotels for free. It'll be like nice places though. It's not always the cheap seats. Like we did the Hilton just outside of Vegas last year, which was like a really nice hotel experience, and that was supposed to be a little over $2,000, and that was free. So how do I travel for free? Usually I use reward programs through credit cards. I do speak to people sometimes who say like, I have a credit card and it gets points on it, but I don't really use it. Maybe I should start using it. But the thing is, you really have to use a strategy to develop enough points to be able to travel like at least like one trip each year. So there's usually 3 strategies that you can use with a credit card point system to be able to earn enough points to travel each year. So the first strategy would be churning. And that's the act of getting new credit cards so that you can get the bonuses on the cards. The second category is strategic spending. So it's spending on particular cards in the areas that you know you'll get double and triple points for. Right? So it's having multiple cards, getting double and triple points, and then using that to come together to make your, free trip. And then the other one would be normal spending. And like I said, usually there's some difficulty with getting enough points if you do just normal spending. But when you add all 3 strategies together, you'll get places for free each year. So I want to put this warning out there. So you always pay your credit card off at the end of each cycle. You never want to pay any of the fees or any of the interest rates or anything like that. If that's what's happening, then you just need to not use the credit card and just take the stuff you were paying in fees and put that in the bank and then use that for your travel. But you absolutely cannot be paying interest rates or fees if you want this to pay off for you and your family. All right, so I wanted to make sure I put that out there. Never spend more than you intended to spend, like without the cards. Never spend more than you have either. So that's a very important part of this whole process. So let's talk about churning. So I use the Chase reward system. So that's the reward system I'm going to go through right now. Now, why do I use Chase? So Chase has a really good redemption rate. They have no blackouts, and they make it easy to stack promotions on top of each other. So with Chase, you can book hotels, flights, you can even book cruises. Some people don't know this because there usually aren't a lot of cruises on Chase's like portal, but you can book just about any of the major cruise lines with them. You just have to call them. Like you go to the cruise line site and you check, and then you just call them and you can book any cruise. So I really like using Chase. I'm sure there's other people out there that can give you a really good, idea of like some other reward systems. But we're going with Chase this time. So in the Chase reward system, the redemption rate is for every 100 points is equal to $1. right? So 1,000 points is $10. 10,000 points would be normally $100. So I just wanted to make sure I give you that number so that you understand what this means when we start talking about points. You know, we have to think about it in like a monetary way. We got to think about it like cash. So trading with Chase. So there's 3 cards that I keep in my wallet: the Chase Sapphire Reserve, the Ink Business Cash, and the Chase Freedom card. So that's 3 cards, right? So if you get those 3 cards, the bonus for the Chase Sapphire card is 60,000 bonus points, right? So when you think about what we said before, 60,000 bonus points is about the equivalent of $600. The Ink Business Cash has a reward of 90,000 bonus points, so that's the equivalent of $900. And then the Chase Freedom card has the equivalent has 20,000 bonus points, which is the equivalent of about $200. And the question I get here is usually where people stop me is that, oh my God, that's 3 cards. What about my credit score, right? So I'm just gonna put this blurb in here. Usually when it comes to credit scores, getting like new cards will either, in the long term, your credit score will probably go up or remain the same. In the short term, your credit score might go down a few points from the inquiries, but the inquiries usually like fall off your credit report in, I don't know, about 6 months. So like long term, they really don't matter. However, if you're going through the process of like buying a house or making any major purchases, I wouldn't get any new cards until you're completely done with that process, because that can really mess you up. But otherwise, you should be in the clear. So I started this whole process about 7 years ago is when I started doing travel hacking, and my credit score was like 700. So like I had a good credit score, but now my credit score stays above 800. So like I benefited a good bit from doing travel hacking. Okay. So that answers that question. So let's go back to the cards. So we had those 3 cards. And when you add all those points together, right? We have the 90 and the 60 and 20,000 points, and that came to 170,000 points. And when you translate that in the Chase portal, like to the translation that I just gave you, that's $1,700, right? So that seems really good. So you get 3 cards, you get $1,700, you get a credit boost, and that seems great. But it's actually even better than that. So when you have the Chase Sapphire Reserve, you get a higher redemption rate. So your points, you get like the amount that you normally get, you get to multiply by 1.5. So when you multiply that $1,700 by 1.5, you get $2,550. And like, it's crazy. It's just for free. It's just for getting 3 cards, you get $2,550 worth of travel to redeem in this Chase portal. And like, it seems crazy that they just give you this stuff, but they do. And you can use it and travel for free. So that's how I travel, like one of the things that we do with churning. So just in regards to churning, because I actually don't have to do this very often, like getting new cards for the bonuses. I might only get a new card once a year because I get so many points like through that and like strategic spending, which I'm going to go through with you, that I don't need any more points than that to be able to travel all I want to throughout the year. But Chase does have some rules. There's the 524 rule. So Chase will not approve you for a new card if you have had more than five new accounts at any bank in the past 24 months, right? So this rule is actually a little bit different when it comes to business cards. So when it comes to business cards, Chase will not approve you for a business card if you don't meet the 524 rule, right? So like, let's say you have 4 cards and you apply for a business card. Chase will let you get the card, but business cards don't count as one of your 5. So again, like if you had the 4, you apply for a business card, they would approve you and you would still have 4 of the 5 cards that you're allowed to get for every 24 months. So business cards work a little bit different. So I don't know, those come in handy too. So you see, one of the cards that I was talking about was the Ink business card. So in order to get the business cards, if you do any like little side hustle at all, you can apply for a business card. And when you apply for the business card, all you have to do is use your social security number for the tax ID. And that's it. Usually you get approved for business cards. I've very rarely heard people not getting approved for those cards. So, all right. So, the next thing we have to talk about is minimum spends. So whenever you want to get one of those bonuses, it's not that you just sign up the card, they immediately give you the bonus. You sign up for the card and they want you to spend a certain amount on the card, and then they will give you the bonus. So the minimum spends can be somewhere between like $1,000 and $5,000. For some of the business cards, it can be up to $10,000. So you want to make sure that you're only using your normal spending on these cards. If you have some issues meeting the minimum spends, I know for some of us, I have a kid, so I'm paying childcare. So that makes a lot of the minimum spend right there for most of the cards. Usually I just pay my daycare bill with it. But for you guys that don't have daycare, another way to meet it is using your card to pay for your rent and your mortgage. And the way you go about doing that is there's an app called plastiq, plastique, plastiq. And you can sign up for that. And through that account, you can pay your like regular bills with your credit card. So you can just use you can use plastiq to pay your mortgage or rent or whatever with your card, and do that to meet the minimum spend. And there'll be a fee associated with it, but the fee that you'll have to pay for using the card to pay your rent is far less than the amount that you're going to earn from the bonus of the card, right? So like one of the business cards had a $90,000 bonus. That's $900, right? Plus with the 50% rule, that's an extra $450 on top of the 900, right? So what's that? $1,350 that you'll get from earning, like from getting this card. So if you're paying a $20 fee to be able to pay your rent with it, then it's totally worth it to do. So plastiq is a good way of doing it. Another way that you can do it is buy like the Ink card gets ×5 at places like Staples. So you can go to staples.com and buy a few gift cards. Like you can buy a Visa gift card and use that to buy your groceries, whatever you got to do. But don't spend money on things you wouldn't have normally spent money on. But don't set yourself up to get cards and not make the minimum spends, because it's not worth it unless you're going to be making those minimum spends. So, strategic spending. Right, so strategic spending is when you look at those like multiplier categories for the cards and you really take advantage of them. And like, it sounds complicated on its face, but a majority of the stuff that at least I spend my money on, most of the time, the data is already saved in like some system, right? So I'm just gonna use a phone bill as an example. So the Chase Ink card has ×5 for internet, cable, phone bills, office supplies, also for like Hulu, Spotify, things like that. So I'm just going to use my phone bill as an example. My monthly phone bill is about $125, right? So that's like my phone, my son's like iPad, whatever. Altogether, it's $125 a month. So that individually, like the points would be worth $1.25. But yearly, it would be $15. But with the ×5 multiplier, it would be $75 that you will now earn from that card, right? So just $75 for travel just from paying your phone bill. And then you take the Sapphire multiplier on top of that, right? So you have that 1.5 and it becomes $112.50. So that is $112.50 that you can spend for travel in the Chase portal just for using that card to pay your phone bill. And you don't have to remember how to do it. You just go into your phone bill, whatever. I know I like either have it on auto pay or I have the card number saved in, you know, my phone provider's web base, and I just click pay and it pays. So I don't have to remember that I have to use this card to pay. I just have to set it up right the first time, and like it takes care of it for me. Um, so when you, after, like, you think, okay, there's over $100 for my phone bill, and now think about adding on your cable bill, right? Your cable bill, your Spotify bill, your Hulu bill, your, like, anything that you could buy at Staples, you buy it at Staples, and that's times 5. And then you start taking some of the other cards. The Freedom card has a grocery category. Sometimes it changes, but it has a grocery category. The Chase Sapphire card has times 10, sometimes for restaurants. So there's times 10 points for restaurants and also for like DoorDash and things like that. So you just set that up automatically in those systems, and that's what you use for that. The Ink card can do times 5 for gas. But if you look at the various categories for the cards, then you really take advantage of them, and you make sure anything that like is set automatically and like some system you have it set up to do the right cards, you will make a significant amount of points just by paying your normal bills. And that's what I meant about if you don't think about doing this. Like I was saying, my phone bill, if I didn't think about doing this, then yearly I would only be making $15 from Chase to pay my phone bill. But because I thought about it and I have the right card and I'm setting it to pay the right things, now I'm getting over $100 from Chase for paying my phone bill, right? So like that's what we call strategic spending. All right, so now we're gonna get into something else. We're gonna talk about Southwest. And one thing that I did recently, and I was super excited when I learned about this. So this is how to earn the Southwest Companion Pass. So usually I have the Chase portal, and I can use that right now. I'm using for hotels and international travel. And now Southwest, this is the other end. I can use this for just all my domestic travel. So Southwest Companion Pass. Normally, to earn the Southwest Companion Pass, to earn the Southwest Companion Pass, you have to fly 100 one-way trips in a calendar year or earn 135 points, right? But you can, but 135,000 points. So to earn these 135,000 bonus points, you can earn it with card bonuses. So with Southwest, you can only get one bonus a year on personal cards, but there is a loophole for business cards. So if you have one personal card and one business card, then you can earn the points that you need for the Southwest Companion Pass. But it's a little tricky. So when you earn the Companion Pass, you earn the pass until December of the following year, right? So if you earn your Companion Pass, let's say I earned it in December of 2022, then I have it until December of 2023. But let's say you earn that same pass a month later, in January of 2023. You now have the Companion Pass until December of 2024. So it's like kind of important to know like these little things that make such a big difference, right? So you wait a month and you get an additional year of this free Companion Pass. So like now anybody can travel, like you can have your companion travel with you for free. Well, you have to pay the taxes, like $10 or something. And so the key for this would be to make sure that you get these two cards and earn your minimum, make your minimum spends in January, right? So you want to get the cards in either like maybe get one in November and one in December, because you can't get them within like less than a 30-day less than a 30-day period of each other. So you can't apply for two cards on the same day and get them both. You get one, wait 30 days, you can get the next one. but also you want to be careful with those minimum spends, right? Like you don't want to be working on two minimum spends at the same time. So me personally, how I did it is I got one in October and I started working towards the minimum spend. And then I stopped spending on it in about mid-December because I was really close. And then I got the second one mid-December and I started working on the minimum spend for that one. And as soon as it hit like January, I finished the minimum spend on both cards, I got my 100, I think it gets you up to like 120,000, like both of them together. But all the spending that you have to do for the minimum spends will get you the extra, like I think 10,000 points that you need to be able to get the companion pass. And then voila, you have a companion pass and you get to fly with a friend for free on Southwest. So it's like really cool. You can change your companion up to 3 times per year. So like right now it'll be my son or my husband as my companion, and I can vary between those two and we can travel as much as we want. Plus you also have those 135,000 bonus points. So like last month me and my son went to Orlando and it cost us I think it was 45,000 points. So I used 45,000 points to get my ticket, and then for his ticket, his was the companion ticket, and then you have to pay taxes on both of them. So I think it was about $20. It was like $10 each for the taxes. So we just paid $20 and we both flew on Southwest for $20, like all together. It's pretty cool. We went to Disney World. Okay, so that is the Southwest Companion Pass. So we've got the Southwest Companion Pass until December of 2024, and like we're really excited to use it. So we use that for all of our domestic travel. So now we've got the Chase points for all of our international travel. We've got the Southwest for all of our domestic travel, and we have Chase for all of our like hotels and stuff. The only thing is like Chase won't the extra 1.5% redemption is only on travel. So, and it's only for hotels. So it won't cover Airbnbs, which, I really like Airbnbs. So sometimes like I'll end up paying for that, for the Airbnb, and like everything else is free. So I don't mind paying for the Airbnb. So, what else the next thing we're gonna get into is the annual fees. So the annual fees are like something you have to think about. They just suck. Like, I know some of them can be up to $500. I'm pretty sure the Chase Sapphire Reserve, I'm pretty sure it's $500 for the fee. One thing is they give me a $300 travel credit, so any travel that I paid for on there, up to $300 gets credited, so that helps offset the cost. Plus they have a credit for, what is that system called? The TSA PreCheck. They cover that, and they'll cover global entry, the fee for global entry. So if you are interested in those things, they will offset the cost of the annual fee. But like some cards will make it so that the annual fee is waived for the first year, and then if you don't want to do it, you can cancel the card before the next year. You want to make sure you read the fine print on that. But I personally, I just pay the annual fees for the Chase Sapphire Reserve because I like the perks on the card, and it works for me. But you do want to be careful, especially if you open multiple cards, to keep an eye on those annual fees because they can creep up on you, and you want to make sure that you're using the benefits from each card that actually offsets the annual fees, or else you're losing money. All right. The next thing I want to get into with travel hacking is Google Flights. So Google Flights has been like a very helpful thing for me personally. So I will go into Google Flights. So you just go to Google and type flights, and the first thing that'll pop up on your browser is Google Flights, and you click on that one. and you'll have like, you'll be able to put in, the from and the to and the dates and stuff. And usually what I will do is I will click on explore. So when you click on explore, this world map comes up, and you can put in your origin, where your starting point. For us, it's Boston, so I'll type in Boston, and then they ask for dates, and I'll usually put in a date because like I am limited by my son's vacations, and I'll put in his vacations, and then I'll just kind of scroll around the world and look for reasonably priced tickets. And like some locations I'll find like, oh, like during this break there's like a great price for, I don't know, Switzerland or something, and I'll check that out. And if you click on it, then you'll see the airlines that have the cheapest flights. So Google searches it for you and finds the airlines with the cheapest tickets, and they will put those up, and they will show you what those are. And if you go there, you go on the left, you see the airline, and you click on the actual ticket, it'll bring you to this other screen where it has the dates in there again. And if you click on the dates, it'll pop up with the calendar, and the calendar will list the cost of the flights for every date. And that'll be really helpful, because sometimes you'll see that a ticket on the day that you pick to travel, it might be $800, $900, but then you'll look at another date and you'll realize if you leave one day early, you'll save $400 on your plane tickets. So it like can make a really big difference as to how much you're spending for your tickets. And I know we're not spending money, we're spending points, but we don't want to waste those either, right? So, and it also gives you like which airline you should be taking to travel on. So so I found it really helpful. Also, what I used to think that the earlier you buy your tickets, the cheaper those tickets will be. And the closer to the time you leave you buy your tickets, the more they will cost. And that is only partially true up to a certain extent. Like if you buy them 2 weeks out or something. However, when you're buying them much earlier, the price of your ticket for the same time on the same date can vary by hundreds and hundreds of dollars. It is crazy. And I don't know why they do that. So I can buy a ticket today for $900 and then have the price drop for the same ticket tomorrow to $700. So if you check this little box on Google, it will send you alerts for a price change for your flight for that airline. So it's really convenient. So if you like, especially if you have like refundable tickets, I guess this is kind of cheating, but if you have a refundable ticket, you can set the alert for it, like buy your ticket and set the alert. And then if the price goes down, you could like return your ticket and get a new one for the same day. But mostly you can set it for if you think that the price will drop for a particular flight. Like let's say you see it on a certain day and it's like $1,000 and you want to wait for the price to be like $800 or $700. You just set the alert, wait for it to send you an email saying it's the price that you wanted it to be, and then you book it. So that's how I will set up the travel for myself and my husband and my son, but like using the least amounts of points possible. So there is so much more that like I could teach you about. You can transfer Chase points to other reward systems, which may allow you to take advantage of other offers. Like you can transfer your Chase points into Southwest Airlines. So let's say like it's better to fly with points with Southwest. It's like crazy. When you're flying with points, you can cancel up to 10 minutes before your flight and get all of your points back. So instead of paying cash for your flight, so it's better with them to pay in points. So if you're like short 1,000 points for Southwest, you can just transfer 1,000 points from your Chase to your Southwest so that you have all the points that you need for your travel. You can also earn reward points from referrals. So like my links are going to be on here, and if you find the information useful and you want to use one of my links, I appreciate it. But you don't have to use those. if you don't want to. But you can also refer your friends. Once you have a card, you can have your own link, and you can refer your friends, and you can get some points there. I think there's a limitation to how much you can get, though. When you book travel, like another thing is like when you book travel, I usually fly Delta. I like Delta, but also Delta miles don't expire. So I like traveling through Delta. And even though my ticket is free, I am still earning frequent flyer miles. Well, Delta. So eventually I can use the I can use the flyer miles that I earn through my free flight to get free flights, which I think is awesome. So that's something to be aware of. So you usually want to sign up for all of those other rewards programs. Like if you're staying at the Hilton, make sure you're signed up for the Hilton's reward program. Although they don't really give you points for free stays, but like Delta does, United Airlines does. They'll give you points for those travels. So you want to make sure you're taking advantage of those at all. And then another thing is you want to make sure you're contacting hotels and airlines if you've had some sort of negative experience with them. A lot of times they will give you incentives to keep you a happy customer. Like I was coming back from Istanbul last year, and Delta booked my flight in such a way that I didn't have enough time. There was no way I could have reached my connecting flight in Paris. So it was a pretty negative experience. I emailed them because I was upset, and they gave me 20,000 flyer miles and $150 credit, which was nice. And I'll be able to use those next time I travel. So yeah. So always say something if you have some sort of issue. And yeah, that is Travel Hacking 101. So I hope you can go ahead and you can get started with your own travel hacking and traveling for free. And like, just in terms of like travel partners and stuff like that and other rewards, and there's other systems, right? Like I said, I use Chase. I know some people that really like Amex, although I feel like their exchange rate isn't as good. But it might just be how I'm using it. There might be other people that have, a lot more success with Amex. But this rabbit hole goes so deep. So be careful. But you only have to go as deep into the rabbit hole based off how much you actually want to travel. So as deep as I am is how far I need to be to travel all that I want for free. But you might be able to go a little farther than I've gone, and I would love to hear what you do to travel, what point system you use, and how you've found it beneficial for you. So thank you so much for listening, and this was Travel Hacking 101 with Alia.